Hey everyone, it's Richard Middlefan here, and before you're wondering, I didn't cut my hair. I just have it back in a braid for some reason. Decided to do something different, especially with a hat. But anyway, that's not what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be bringing you guys a brand new 2018 album review. And as you can see, well, the title today, we're going to be looking into the new album from the band Architects entitled Holy Hell, which came out today through Epitaph Records. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Architects, they're a metalcore band based out of Brighton, England, in the UK, and these guys have been around since 2004. I discovered Architects back in like 2014, 2015 or so. Um, I saw somebody shared one of their songs. I forget what it was, and I liked it, and I decided to check out all their other stuff, and I really dug what I heard. And they've been putting out albums since their debut album Nightmares, which came out in 2006, which I thought was a album, but I think after that they just gotten better with their second album, which came out in 2007, which is Ruined, and it was the first album where they had their current vocalist Sam Carter, and I think is a good vocalist. And then they've put out Hollow Crown in 2009, which in my opinion is probably some of their best work to date. Here and Now, which came out in 2011, which I know a lot of people sort of have mixed feelings from what I've heard. I mean, I've heard a couple of the songs. I especially love the song Learning to Live. It was a pretty good song. Daybreaker, which came out in 2012. I think that's, in my opinion, the album that sort of like really got Architects sort of well known, sort of like their breakthrough, in my opinion. Then Lost Forever, Lost Together with 2014, which is pretty much, like I said, the album that really got me into them and how I discovered these guys. And then we go into their previous album, which came out in 2016, All Our Gods Have Abandoned Us, which I thought was a really good album. But then and it was around that time, sadly, in 2016, where their guitarist and primary songwriter, Tom Searle, had passed away from cancer at the age of 28, and it was pretty devastating. And of course, and then last year they released originally was going to be a standalone song, which is now included on this album called Doomsday, which we'll talk about later. Really dug it, and it was they had Josh Middleton from Silosis, just filling in, but then after that he became an official member. And yeah, and here we are with album 8 for Architects. And does this album live up to All Our Gods Have Abandoned Us? In my honest opinion, I think it definitely has. And what sets Architects apart from different other metalcore bands around that time is like just like the instrumentation. Like the instrumentation is really good. Like just like the heavy sort of like progressive elements that they incorporate into their sound, almost like the gent like guitar is kind of reminds me, and just like the polyrhythms and like the breakdowns kind of reminds me a little bit of like Gojira or Meshuggah. It's just really great. I just really love the guitar tone. The production is just really great, and I really love. Just talk about the vocals from Sam Carter. Sam's vocals are just, I think, in my opinion, he's one of the best metalcore vocalists ever. Just like the way he's, I don't know, like the way he sort of like does his shouty yells, like almost kind of fits with sort of like have like a little bit of a melody to it. And when he just does his softer, like clean vocals, I think he really his showcases really well. I just think he's gotten better as a vocalist since he joined the band. I just think he's a great vocalist in my opinion, and I think he deserves more credit. He's just so good. Guitar wise, Adam Christensen and Josh Middleton's guitar work is just superb. Like just the riffs they come up with, like Josh being the newer guy in the band, is just like the way he comes up with these songs is just, it's just really great. And the riffs that Adam brings is just really great. Bass wise, Ali Dean's bass is pretty prominent on this album compared to like other albums. You could definitely hear it well in the mix. It really just shines through on some of the tracks. And drumming wise, Dan Searle, who's of course the late Tom Searle's brother, his drumming is just superb. Just like the way he plays his drums is just so technical and just so proficient. But yeah, without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. Now the album opens up with the song Death Is Not Defeat, which wastes no time setting up the theme of endearment after sort of like losing one of their members, Tom Searle, which I feel like that's sort of like the main theme throughout the song. But it's not before like the and sort of like the drum beats and Sam's iconic soft vocal screams bring us in, sort of like guides us through the opening seconds. And by the time the chorus hits you in the face, we've got yet another instant classic. And I honestly think this would be a live banger on our hands with plenty of heavy moments, guttural screams, and a fat as fuck breakdown, which will certainly please heavy fans. Hereafter, it sort of like keeps the momentum flowing next with equally impressive riffs and sort of like a prog gent infused vibe that is complete with breakdowns, bellowing clean vocals, and our first black of the album, which apparently that's sort of like a thing for Architects. I don't know. No, and if you don't find yourself like screaming along to the chorus, now the oceans have drained out, can I come for your air, because I've been learning to live without. It's just the lyrics on that is just good, and that's just the lyrics on the entire album is just really great. And I feel like Dan sort of like nails the drums like a madman bashing your fists into the dry wall. Mortal after all ever so briefly slows the tempo down for like a short 10 seconds of synth before Sam screams kick off a really good riff and infused in all in attack that just makes you want to just move around, and the chuggy breakdown before the third act can be felt like inside of you. And I could definitely see this becoming a crowd pump for like future shows, and just from like start to end, and it makes you wanting more, but as satisfied as the final note fades out. And then we go into the title track of the album, Holy Hell, which begins with a style sound that I haven't heard from Architects yet. And the strings are back with more prominence of Sam's sort of like softer screams are present too, but an assortment of music has pulled us in towards another action-packed all-in offering, which boasts an exceptionally fast and heavy riffs that both Adam and Josh bounce off each other in like a cat and mouse style. We'll play it off. Yeah. Damnation is just proggy inducing goodness with just a fun to thrash as loud as possible from like start to end. And then Ali sort of like shows his really great bass lines, combining both the groove and fast action pace that just complements throughout the lead and rhythm guitars to a T. Then we go into Royal Beggars, which I really think is probably my favorite song on the album. It's just raw, melodic, heavy, slow, and almost kind of has a little bit of a ballad-esque a little bit to it. Plus it has like an exceptional break down in there. It's just, wow, it just makes you want to bang your head. Modern Misery follows up next, and this is an up-tempo song banger with just a no doubt to be a reason a plethora of fans will be sporting a new lyric-inspired tattoos after the album's release because of the songs like we used to run with the Wolves. Dying to Heal sort of like leads in slowly to what can be described as an action-packed foray, like musicianships from the Architects between Sam's screams, Dan's flawless drumming, and the guitarists. I say just like the musicianship on that track is really great. The Seventh Circle, which is a ferociously fast, frenzy-inducing sample of how just talented that this band are. And at like around a minute and 47 seconds, it does more than increase my heart rate. It just like it just fucking gets you right in there. And then we go into Doomsday, which I honestly think this is one of the best songs that Architects have ever written. And this was, I honestly, from what I've heard, this was actually supposed to be on the previous album, Our Gods Have Abandoned Us. And this was actually Tom Searle's last song he ever wrote before he died. But sadly, it didn't make it on the last album. But I'm really glad it ended up here. And this was actually a standalone song that came out like about a year ago. Oh, and I just think it just really just feels like Tom is still part of the band even on this album, as well as this song. You could definitely just sort of like feel that the energy is still in there. And then closing the album is the song A Wasted Hymn, and the band sort of like nails the climax with the passion, melody, and a fantastic array of instrumentals, with both the Architects lads and the string players giving it all their best for this like heart-stinging, tugging finale, which holds your hand all the way through the final closing lyrics. Now, overall, Holy Hell is a really good album. I think it's a great, strong follow-up to All Our Gods Have Abandoned Us. If I were to give this album a score, I'd probably give this a solid 9 out of 10. It's probably will be in one of my top albums of the year. So, yeah, that's my review of the New Architects, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it, and I'll see you all in the next video, and keep it metal.